Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Huriwa, has condemned the Supreme Court's delay in hearing a suit filed by 11 PDP governors challenging President Tinubu's controversial emergency rule in Rivers State. The lawsuit opposes the suspension of Governor Fubara, his deputy, and the State Assembly, and the appointment of a sole administrator, actions Huriwa calls a constitutional coup. In a statement by its coordinator, Emmanuel Owubiko, Huriwa criticized the judiciary's dangerous silence, accusing the court of dereliction and warning that it risks enabling executive overreach and democratic collapse. The group also rebuked Governor Fubara for allegedly submitting to federal authority instead of defending his mandate. Huriwa urged Chief Justice Kekere Ekun to urgently fix a hearing date, stressing that the rule of law and Nigeria's democracy are at stake. We are still on this sitting properly.
I need to say, maybe if you wanted to ask some questions?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, you have the floor.
Maybe if I was here yesterday, I would have said something different. But I have a better information.
Okay.
Please permit me with my spiritual instinct.
Spiritual?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I do have some spiritual instinct that have made me talk differently from what I would have said yesterday, from what I've seen.
Okay.
But I can tell you this. This is firstly, we must locate this within the circumference of what the Supreme Court is. The Supreme Court is actually basically first a policy court. It's first a policy court before even a legal court. That's what judiciary is. That means that there are certain judgments that the Supreme Court also does its own intelligence. And then if you look at what the man even did say, I like that he was a little bit objective because he was talking about the judiciary not assuming even the judiciary will want to because you see when you dispense case quickly, you help the polity, whether rightly or wrongly. I'm not saying they should go wrong, whether rightly or wrongly.
Right.
That issue will be laid to rest. Everyone will begin to talk about whether it was
looking
wrong,
towards the future and looking for a way to heal their hearts.
to heal their heart. But to hang a judgment will mean that you're also hanging expectations.
Right.
You're also hanging certain crises that may come. But again, if you look at the other angle they came and took it, they also blamed Fubara, for all the negotiations that are around. You see, when those negotiations are around at that top level, at that apex level, the judiciary somehow, you didn't have a lawyer who went to represent you. I'm talking about even them.
Right.
So the lawyers is between those who, the governors, isn't it? And the federal government. Those are the lawyers that are representing them. So ideally, today you can see that from the 11 PDP governors, he saw that 1 and 2 had gone out of even the PDP. So you don't know the undercurrent that is happening, which is why Supreme Court is not even, whether the lawyers have said, okay, wait to, you need to ask. Because the lawyers can actually say, these things can be, in court, there is a caveat that allows you to settle out of court.
Yes.
And what is that caveat? The court will be on hold until you have done that. So for them to have been going the other political route, maybe they may be on hold. They don't need to announce it. They don't need to go to the public to do that. I'm not defending them. I'm not the media assistant to the chief judge of the federation. But on the issue of whether it is bad to how do I say, to
delay the case.
Delay the case. For me, I think it's very bad because if it dispense the case, there are certain things that, if you say today that it's illegal and that Fubara should come back, so be it. If it's not illegal, then he exhausts his 6 months. After all, they have done 3 months. The next thing. But again, there could also have been the other angle that I said. So I believe that there are things that we do not know that is happening there, and which includes, I'm thinking that's the reason why you see negotiations here and there, ongoing. But I know as a person that Rivers State will be stronger by this circumstance. This Rivers State will be stronger. Fubara will come back as governor. But sometimes you see that this thing may have happened and then the Supreme Court goes to give a judgment just after the 6 months and it becomes academic. maybe for reference purposes, so that it does not reoccur itself.
Right.
They may look at such things, and the Supreme Court may also have given and say, no, it was okay. Because Supreme Court also is tight. You know, people are arguing, lawyers are arguing. Yes, it's supposed to be an interpretational law, court that they'll come and interpret the Constitution. It's just interpretation. But even when the judges will not come openly to say, look, even if I was there, for instance, what happened, what is reported that happened in Ahoda? If I was judge, if you're a judge, and you were there, the judge, you can come to the judge court, and the judge will also want you to prove the fact that that happened. The judge cannot just give judgment because he saw it. The judge cannot be a witness of a case that he is a judge.
So you think the Supreme Court is being diplomatic about the whole situation?
Of course, that's also Supreme Court. They are diplomatic about it. That's why certain judgments are not given, not because of the merit or otherwise. Right. They also look at the pulse of the nation. And so I think that, like I've said, if you notice that just after that court, there are some defections and not defections from the parties. There are some internal wranglings. There are people going, even the PDP governors. Even the PDP governors who went to court are still the one who is taking Fubara to the president. That's what I'm just telling you. So it could be that there are some internal wiring that we do not know.
Right. Thank you so much. So Chizzy feels there are internal wirings, and Huriwa also, frowns at Fubara trying to submit to federal authority. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think starting from the action of the Supreme Court, I don't give them a thumb up at all, because we are Nigerians. Remember, I don't base any of my argument or analysis on my personal interest. It has to come from the holistic viewpoint of a whole society. So, for me, justice delayed is justice denied. For some of you, no matter what prompts your delay or whatever, I believe that for us to have a saner society, expedite action, give judgment for or against.
But then, don't you think Huriwa is crying more than the bereaved? Because the doctors are not, the governors are not out there complaining.
What is their name? Human rights writers. Human rights writers. Not governors' rights writers. Not Fubara's rights writers. Human rights writers. And who are the human in question here? Nigerian populace. Nigerian citizens. So they are feeling our pulse that we should have been brought to know. Just like this is trying to preempt what could be, what could be. I know he's not a soothsayer, but he said that he's having some spiritual, insight and all that, which to a large extent is okay. Yeah, because spirit can speak to anybody at any time, but hey, it has not spoken to me. Spirit has not spoken, so I'm speaking like a man. I am feeling, sharing the feeling of the Huriwa, and also trying to follow things the way it should be. Supreme Court ought to have given judgment, whether against Fubara or for Fubara.
Yeah.
But now, looking at what happened, the Huriwa also accusing Fubara of submitting itself to federal might. I was in a certain media house when I told them that the best thing for Fubara as it stands now is to act wisely. No longer for the interest of Rivers masses, which we know that it can no longer help him, because we have come to look deeper into the little things that happened during this close to 2 years rift between him and his political godfather. You see that a lot of people were actually behind him, pushing for their political interests. Whereas Fubara was looking at governance. Those people were looking at what they want to achieve in the near future, or in the far future, so to speak. But Fubara was seen differently. Even when some of us shout to him, so, Oga, look, we need some people coming to this match at this point. You need to make some little changes. He refused to listen to some of us. Yeah. So he refused to listen to some of us. I have stood for Fubara and will continue to stand for Fubara. But I should be able to give him what I call objective counsel. Like when I told him, look, seeing Tinubu in London was a very positive move. Now you have finished seeing Tinubu, go and see Wike. Because you fought gallantly, but you were conquered. Yes, we have to accept that. He was actually brought down by that judgment of Supreme Court, which, whether I like it or I don't like it, it is binding on me. I never liked that judgment, but it has been issued and it is binding on us. So now, for Fubara to be able to either reclaim his mandate, because if you listen to the statement of Mr. President, he said that this suspension is for initial 6 months.
Which gives it room for extension.
Yeah, it gives room for extension. And it is possible that if after 6 months they claim they have not resolved, because at first I even accused the opposition of those who are opposed to Fubara's government. I accused them of instigating some of those, gasgos here and there as at that time, which we kept on saying that there is no crisis in Rivers State. And the Solad has come to see that there was no crisis, and he has stayed without crisis until now that he has created a crisis that is now fighting him back. Because we are humans. Yes, a crisis, it has just started from Ahoda East. My prayer as a Nigerian, because Solad is not my problem. What is my problem is the organization that he represents. Because as a man, we can be very best of friends. Yes, outside the center where everybody drags for his own right. So for me, he came into a state where there was no crisis, and he said he has brought in peace. But now we are seeing what is happening. You go to Diobu, you see crisis here and there. You go to Ahoda East, you see crisis here and there. You go to Eleme, you see what Hasmen are doing, and things are just happening like that in state. You walk along the road, you see heaps of refuse here and there. No project, nothing, just sharing. And whatever they are sharing is not tilting down to the masses.
Excuse me.
So I'm coming, hold on, I'm holding the floor. So you have to be patient, learn that, you understand? So all these things are happening. The masses are not having the feelings of good governance under Solad. And instead, you now see crisis brewing. This one has just started. If police does not nip it at the bud now in Ahoda East, you'll be shocked. It will hit another local government. And when it has hit about 2, 3, 4, 5 local governments, then what will you say again? Now, will you suspend the Solad and declare a fresher state of emergency and bring another Solad? Or what do you do? So we are saying, let both for what the Huriwa is standing for, Supreme Court holding up their judgment and all things like they should deliver judgment.
Right.
So that if Nigerians know that Supreme Court has said this, or they will say Supreme Court has said this,
right,
then coming to Fubara, aligning with the federal government, I think that is the best thing for him as a person to do now in order to save his head. It is no longer fighting for Rivers people, but to fight and secure his life first. Because he needs to come back and finish his tenure, right, honestly.
Thank you so much. I need your contribution.
You know, I know he has defeated our goals too. I can tell you that if anybody defines peace as the total absence of little crisis, that person is not real. That's not the peace we're talking about. That peace will only be gotten hereafter, not this year.
Peace is the management of crisis. Peace here is that in spite of the crisis that you're able to manage. Now to say that there are one or two things there that makes it, that makes the Solat fail is a complete distortion of facts. Whether you like it or yes, I don't know where he got his fact that those things were those bombing threats and all of that came from the other opposition. Well, it is left for him to prove that. But I can tell you that if there is any pointer to it, is the fact that where those things were happening, that you were sitting and couldn't go against it, just the same way they are doing against here. You see, one thing why government exists, the Bible says to run a wheel on the wicked and to support the righteous. Now, if you have something, that means that there must be the wicked. So if the wicked now springs up and you're able to manage it, that's peace. And that's what is happening. And so I don't want to say whether he said, he did not come here to begin to do project. He came here to host well until...
Do you think he has done that, given what's going on in Ahoda just now?
He is doing it. That's why I said that peace.
Peace is not the total absence of issues. That's not peace. Even all the civilized countries that you've seen in the world today, there are issues. It does not, in UK they shoot people. That does not mean that there are no peace there. There are issues. It does not mean, like I said, those kind of perfect peace will come hereafter. But that people will not come. It's the management of such crises. And that is what you're seeing. That those crises are managed. Whether you like it or not, today in Rivers State, the political tension is a little bit down, for other things to come. And so the man has come to manage certain things. All of this, he just said this, he quickly said the other one said the other one, the other one said that. It's coming to, it's done. And so you don't have to begin to disparage the man because of what has happened. I can tell you, like I've said, that when I was talking about, he did say something which I like about that. He said, look, I told Sim that he told Sim, and we have been talking to Sim about it, to say, no, there are certain things, political move you need to make in getting all of this thing off. But I keep saying, talking about character and integrity. Character is everything. If you have to manage, you can have an issue and manage it. The way you manage an issue is not the way I manage an issue. The way this person manages an issue. I can tell you that even now that Fubara is doing that, he is fighting for Rivers people, because you know why? He knows what he wants to deliver for Rivers person. He has to be there to be able to deliver it. He can't do it from the confines of his home. He has to do it as governor. And so, ideally, take it this way or take it the other way. Fighting to reclaim his mandate is fighting for Rivers people. That's why I'm running for election, for instance. And so I can tell you that the Fubara that came 2 years before now will not be Fubara that is coming now. Reason is simple. He will not be coming assuming there's an agreement. He will not be coming on agreement to say yes or no on this. And when you begin to deal with certain agreement on yes or no, you will know that certain things have been, be shifted. And then this whole thing, everybody, including us, have known that this sole emergency thing is not just to the Fubara camp, whether you like it or yes, even to the assemblies. Of course, you know that assemblies were also suspended. Right. People were suspended. We don't have commissioners. We don't have, and as politicians, we feed on knowing those persons. Whether you like, yes, the business of Nigeria today is a little bit political. And so if you know whom you know can, even if you are the best expert, how do I know the Solad, for instance? How do I go to him? But if the Solad is from here today, it doesn't matter whether he has stayed abroad for the whole of his year. There must be somebody, a cousin or something that I will know him. Because you need to, the Bible says here, he knows better. The Bible says there is a small city that was besieged by a king, but there is in that city a small guy that has the wisdom to deliver the city, but his voice was not heard because of money. And so no matter how brilliant you are, you need to interface with people to be able to show your brilliance. I have to be here to know that I can analyze issues. Right. If I'm not given that opportunity, so you must be given an opportunity. So for me to get that opportunity, I need a democratically elected person in the president of government. It doesn't matter whether Fubara or anybody. But the Fubara had to come to complete this thing. I can shock you that even the other camp will not like an off-season election. No. So Fubara is not here. They wouldn't even like an off-season election. They want an election that will happen in that. So Fubara is coming for all of them, because my brother, you saw that the appointment of that's how it starts. So which means that the man has a right to appoint everybody. He can come from. Calabar is a strong state. Cross River State now is a strong state. That used to be the smallest state in the south side. It's a strong state because it has two governors. One governor from Cross River State, governor in River State, and governor in Cross River State.
And two RISEC. And two RISEC. And many more coming.
Two chief of staffs.
Thank you so much for your insight on that report.